Okay, guys, so today you're going to be using crayons and watercolors. If you have them, you'll need a brush for the first part. So crayons, watercolors, and a brush for the first part, and a piece of white paper. And then for the second part of the project, some markers, a piece of scrap paper, and scissors and a glue stick. So let's get started. So today we're going to be really carefully looking at a radish and seeing what shapes we see and what lines and colors and what textures. So we're going to be using those elements of art. So I am looking at this radish right in front of me, and I'm going to try and draw exactly what I see. I'm actually using a crayon. And we don't draw super realistically with crayons, but I'm going to try using a crayon today. So I see that the radish on my screen right there, that radish is kind of an oval shape. So I'm going to start by just drawing that oval on my paper. So I'm going ahead and drawing that oval. And then right off that front, there's almost like a kind of a triangle right here. Okay, and then from there, I'm going to go ahead and there's kind of this like curved line. I'm going to follow that curved line back. Yours might not look just like mine, guys. Everybody's is going to look a little different. I'm going to make it curve a little bit. And on some of these, there's kind of like a lump right here. Then I'm going to switch over and I'm going to go ahead and grab my green. And coming out of the top, I see some stems. So there's some lines like this that come up and like that. And a little bit over here. So I have some lines like that. And then to be able to get those leaves, what the leaves actually are doing is they're going lump, lump, lump on the edges, right? And then it's a pointy one, and it comes back down, lump, 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 lump. And on my next one, similar thing, it's going to be lump. And I'm drawing what I see on my radish bumps. Some of you might see there might be little lines going this way on your radish too. Just draw what you see on your radish leaves. Everybody might see really different things. Okay, so I'm going to go through. I know some of these don't have leaves on them. There's a little lumpy one right here. But some do. So I'm going through and do as many as I can. Some of these are kind of thick at the bottom and they get skinnier at the top. And I'm just going to make a thicker line with my green. Okay, so then when I'm done with my crayon, my next step is going to be to use my watercolors. So I found I have oval shape in there. Now off of the end down here, I could get a black, I could get a red. It's up to me what color I want to use. But there's some of these little funny, kind of like hairy things sticking off. So if you want to add some of the hairs off the roots, so they're like smaller roots, you can do that as well. Okay, for my watercolors, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to dip my brush in the water, and then I'm going to tickle my paint. So I'm going to put some water in my, little bit of water in my watercolor paint right here, dip my brush, and I'm just going to paint inside here. So you could think about the value or the darkness or lightness of your red, right? So I have some pretty dark red here. I could get a lighter value by dipping it in water, getting a little bit on my brush so I can have different values. I can get another darker value by using more paint and less water. So I see there's some lighter spots on my radish, just like the other one. The end down here, I want it to be pretty light. I'm not even adding paint onto my brush. I'm just going to use the paint that's there. All right. I'm going to actually leave those spots white because I see them on my radish. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my green, same thing. I'm going to add some water to my paint and then knock off that extra water on the edge of my glass. And then I'm going to go ahead and paint inside. So I have a light value. Maybe I'm going to get a darker value because I see some darker values on my leaves. I didn't even dip my brush in water that time. I got a much darker value. So if you want to go light again, add more water. So I'm painting inside my leaves. Notice if you did add those extra lines in there, they're showing up because they're made of crayon. So crayon, the wax, as we've done a couple this year, the wax resists the paint and it won't stick on it. So I'm just continuing to paint in here using all different kinds of green, light or dark. And when I'm done, I'm going to let this dry. And while it's drying, I'm going to work on making some different pieces for my face. So if you have time, which I think you all will, you grab that scrap paper while you're waiting. And I'm going to say, okay, I need to have some eyes. So I might draw my eyes. And then going inside those eyes, I'm going to draw 2 little circles. And if you want to make it easy on yourself, you can just go ahead and draw them right onto your paper. It's your choice. You can do it either way. Cut them out and stick them on, or just draw them right on. And then I'm going to need a mouth. You don't have to be smiling in yours. You can flip this right upside down and make it a frown. So I'm drawing a semicircle for that, or a half circle. Okay, so I have a mouth and I have eyes, and then I'll show you how to do, I want some bright rosy cheeks. I'm going to draw some circles for those. And I'll have to show you how to do teeth in 1 second. So right now I have my eyes, so I go ahead. I'm going to cut those out. And you all know how to cut, open, close, away from your nose. So I said I would go ahead and show you how to cut out some triangles for our teeth. So for this, I just cut a skinny rectangle. So I'm going to go diagonal cut, and I have 1 tooth. Diagonal cut, and I'm just going to put my teeth right on my face here. And if you want to make smaller ones, you could do smaller ones, depending on how big your mouth is. I like mine on top. Okay, so those are my facial features, and then I'm going to put glue on the back of those. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick them right on. I'm not gluing them on right now. If you don't have glue, you can just lay them on and then take your picture with your camera so I can see your scary or happy radish. There we go. So I have all my pieces. Even though I did not glue, I still have all my pieces laying right on top. Okay, and then my last step is to go ahead and identify what elements of art I use. So I use shape. So I use an oval for the head, right? And then I have ovals for the eyes and circles for the eyes and triangles. What form is this? It's like a sphere. Colors, I use red and green. Values, I use dark red. And texture, it's smooth, okay? Except for these little furry things, which is soft. So I was able to talk about my elements of art. I hope that you are able to as well. I can't wait to see what you create.